Welcome everyone to our today's Fit for Them roundtable on entrepreneurship. My name is Melanie Groß. I'm working at the Fit for Them project as Open Science and Co-Creation Manager, and my colleague Monika Gisela is part of our Startup Center team here at the University of Mainz and working as a task manager in the For Them Alliance. Today with us are Laurie Herborn and Sebastien Charles. And before we start, I would like to remind all of our listeners that the For Them Alliance is one of the first founded European higher education alliances with now 9 partner universities all over Europe. And For Them strongly focuses on student affairs and questions about student mobility and digital transformation at the participating universities. Within the project Fit for Them, the Alliance is working on joint strategies and concepts in research and innovation. And today we would like to talk about the topic of entrepreneurship. One of For Them concerns is to support future entrepreneurs coming from within the Alliance by providing them with the right tools during their studies or their research. So what we have already learned from our students is that there's a great interest in learning from entrepreneurs and their experiences directly. So it's my pleasure to finally welcome our guests, Laurie and Sebastien. So Sebastien, would you like to introduce yourself briefly and tell us how the idea and concept for the startup came up?
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. So before starting PosterLab, I've been working as innovation manager for about 15 years in large US and German companies and trying to bring forward innovation to market. And what I found out is that collaboration is the way to go, but it's a very hard thing. When you put together academia and corporation, in the end you have about 80% failure rate, which is way too high when you think about all the knowledge that is put on the table. So that's why the idea is coming from, to develop a platform that is going to facilitate the collaboration and the management of external innovation partners in between the ecosystem of corporation and academia.
Okay, so now to Laurie, would you also like to introduce yourself briefly and tell us especially about your motivation to focus entirely on starting a business after finishing law school instead of pursuing the, let's say, more obvious career path of becoming a lawyer?
Thank you for having me. Like you already said, I'm Laurie, founder and CEO of Circle, the peer-to-peer fashion rental platform. And while I was at the end of my law studies, I was already working a few months on Circle, and it was very clear to me that I wouldn't go into the typical law, like being a typical lawyer. So I really wanted to pursue my dream on building my own company and like living out the passion for fashion. So I received a scholarship at the end of my studies, which gave me the opportunity to entirely focus on building Circle and its concept and living out my passion. So I guess for me there never really was a question about not doing it. It was always the main thing I wanted to do, and with the scholarship I really had the opportunity to go full-time into that.
Now, that's an entrepreneurial spirit, I would say. Coming back to the beginnings of PosterLab, Sebastien, how did you manage to become known and position yourselves and also to find investors?
Very good point, very good question. So I would say pitching. I mean, everybody's saying this, but that's a kind of a very important thing. So and don't be shy. I mean, at the beginning we only had 3 slides for our first investor pitch. We had almost nothing, just an idea, how we wanted to do it, and we're pitching. So pitching is the most important things you need to do, and do it as early as you can. And networking. I mean, ideas are not worth anything. You need to put it on the table and share it to the world, because this is how you're going to build it on the way and get feedback.
Laurie, did you follow a similar approach? How did you manage the first step of your startup, and how do you finance your startup at the moment?
So while Circle was stuck in my head for a while, I knew I really had to get out there. So I basically reached out to every access point for like startups, founders, went to every meeting, every event, possible digital and physical. So I really put myself out there and the circle concept and talked to as many people as possible to get feedback, to get to know like-minded people. And like Sebastien already said, like getting feedback and just pitching is so important, especially in the beginning of building a company. And for the finance part, I am bootstrapping Circled right now, which is hard but doable. But we'll be able to launch soon, so then hopefully get some cash flow.
It's interesting that you say we will launch soon. In fact, we brought you to here as founders, but you refer to your actions by we did something, we managed something. So it seems to me that starting a business is not a one-man show after all, even if it is portrayed as such sometimes. How did you manage to find the right team, Laurie, or in the case of PosterLab, co-founders who share your vision?
Yeah, so I founded Circled by myself, and it was really hard in the beginning because I was actually really by myself. But then you really get like stuck in your own head and you can't really think clearly anymore. So I'm really grateful for the people that were by my side at that time, and they really helped me like brainstorming, thinking about everything, which was great. And then there were like so many people helping me out and doing stuff for Circled also voluntarily, which I'm really happy about. But of course, like a team that is always by your side is really important. And by now I have that and I'm really happy with them. So yeah, I guess it's just really important to have like great people by your side who also live out the passion you live for what you're doing. And for me, it was always like people I knew or like friends of friends or from a circle of friends, which helped me out and which are members of the team now. But I also made the experience that on some platforms, some websites like Foundario or something, you can really connect with also people who are really interested in growing with you your idea. So that's also a great opportunity to meet people and to find co-founders, I guess.
On my side, I was kind of. My wife told me, okay, I mean, you have some ideas. Go into a place where you can talk with people like you. And I ended up into the Gutenberg Digital Hub in Mainz, where we are right now. And this is all the co-founders. This is where all the co-founders of PosterLab found each other. I mean, it's as basic as talking about our ideas next to the coffee machine of the co-working space, where it's, it's pretty cool. I have some time, I can help you out, work on the slide, I can help you out, work on an MVP, and I can help you out, put you in touch with people that can tell you if your idea is worth something or not. So that's again, I mean, it's go outside the box and talk about it, and then it's all about trying to find people that are going to be as passionate as you, and that's a tricky thing, because you don't know. Obviously, I didn't know about these people beforehand, so you need to try to assess super fast if let's say, first of all, do you have something? You have kind of a business that can become something, and then these people can become your partner. Partner is a strong word. It's when you're going to spend your day with these people. So they need to be passionate and then go for it.
Yeah, you have both already mentioned many times that going out into the world with your idea is very important, even if you are just in the beginning. So maybe both of you, could you again highlight the importance of networking and where or what is the best way to start with it?
So, like I already said in the beginning, I've like really reached out to every group, every access point who could help me connect with like-minded people and also help me like starting the whole process of building a company. So yeah, I really did that. I went to like everyone, and also here at the university in Mainz, the Startup Center helped me a lot, especially in the beginning, starting the whole process of founding the company. And yeah, also I went to a lot of meetings, a lot of online physical meetings. Also in Gutenberg Digital Hub, they do a lot here in Mainz, which is great. And yeah, just like talk to people and pitch everywhere you can. Yeah.
And on the pitching thing, I don't know if it was the same for you, but at the beginning your idea is a bit rough. See?
Of course.
Not for you. It was. I mean, it was not. It was. We identified something, but it said the solution was not yet kind of crystal clear. And when you do this pitching, when you do this talking, you are kind of refining your pitch.
Yeah.
Every time you refine, and that's kind of great.
Yeah.
So this is what I like a lot. Coming back on the networking, I mean, as soon as you're going to talk outside the box, people are going to tell you, hey, you know, this is Gründerwoche, so weekly entrepreneurship week. You have otherwise this ecosystem of startup here, this event there. So people are going to tell you about this. And then what I recommend is that once you know this, try to go on LinkedIn, follow these groups or follow these people, and then you are going to be automatically notified whenever this is kind of events, and then you're not going to miss them.
Yeah, this is also great. And also with the pitching thing, it was exactly for me, like you said, there were like in the beginning so many like weaknesses in the concept still, but I didn't know like really how to find a solution. So when you like pitch to people, they point out your weaknesses, also sometimes weaknesses you didn't even think about in your own head. So that just makes your concept much stronger. Yeah.
Interesting. So we already talked about some rather specific aspects of the founding process, but let's get back to the very basics. So Sebastien, Laurie, what characteristics should a founder bring to the table in your opinion? Maybe Sebastien.
Okay. Founding a startup is an emotional roller coaster. I mean, everybody's saying this, but when you are in it, I can tell you it's like this. So I mean, it's and at the beginning, because you are not used to be like this, it's tough. It's very tough. You know, you get your first no from a business angel, and then you think the world is going down. And then you get to know that to get financing, you need to reach out to 100 people and maybe get one. But this you need to learn in the go. One day you are going to have, in the same day, you're going to have one investor, you're going to win one investor, maybe somebody from your team is going to say, hey, maybe I'm thinking about going back to my studies, and in the same day you are going to be a customer saying, yes, I love what you do, and it's just like, it's not easy, so try to learn to manage your emotion, because this is not the end of the world if you fuck up, let's make it clear, and so resilience, and so yeah, I mean, be passionate, manage your emotion, go get it, and again, it's only about business. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah, so Sebastien already explained it really, really good how it is. Yeah, like you said, I think you really have to have like great power of endurance, like not giving up easily, because if there's like one stone in the way, there will be more, many, many more. So yeah, I also think you always have to like be passionate about about your idea, and also like really like clearly seeing in your inner eye what you want to do and what you are gonna change. I think that's also really important. Yeah.
Yeah, and in best case, this bundle of or this strong mindset lead to success. So Sebastien, your company is already running successfully. So how do you manage the growth and the challenges that come with it?
So one thing is, I think from the beginning you need to think about process. So it may sound, let's say, crazy to think about process and you're almost nowhere, but you are setting up something that is aiming at growing. So you are going to hire people very fast, let's say students, different kind of profiles. So, and you have a very small team, not a lot of money, and you need to show results rather fast. So whenever you identify something that can be repeated more than twice, So you do more than twice the same thing process. Why? Because it means that tomorrow you're going to give this responsibility to somebody else. And the whole idea about speed is that you want that person to come on board and within, let's say, 1 or 2 weeks to be able to do what you've done. And to do that, you say, okay, this is the process, this is what I've been doing, just go for it, you know where to go and replicate it. So I think it's about having, let's say, aside of the A team, I mean, you need to have a team, that's for sure, but you also need to have processes in place to be able to replicate in a systematic manner, let's say, to move forward.
So Laurie, your platform on the other hand is just about to launch soon. What is your communication strategy? Will you, for example, work together with influencers?
So our main communication platform is definitely social media, especially Instagram, because I think it's a great opportunity to interact with your community over Instagram, like via stories, Q&As, DMs, and you like basically immediately get feedback from them. So we're doing that, and we're also sending out newsletters where we like keep our waitlisters up to date and they get some specials. And yeah, we are planning to work with influencers in the future, but I think it's always a little tricky to find the right ones with like representing the value of your company. So we will definitely have to look into that before like starting to work with influencers.
So it sounds like a lot of commitment, dedication and passion for your startups. What would you both say? Can I also start a business part-time? Or at which point in funding process there is a need for going all in with all your time and all your passion? To both of you, maybe you would like to start.
Sure. So it's a very good question, and I think all the people that I've been talking around have this kind of, let's say, challenge, but it's a good challenge. I mean, let's take it positively. So to give you a practical example, we were 3 co-founders of PosterLab. At the early beginning, let's say I could myself, put myself, 80% on the board, but my 2 other co-founders had some side activities, and so they were putting, let's say, something like 50% on it. And at some point in time, let's say we managed to get our first financing round. And then with that kind of money, we could, all of us, increase even further, let's say, our dedication time. And then at some point in time, we were incubated, we had a bit of money, we could finance, we had our first customers, so we say, okay. And our investors say, okay, we can give you more money on investors, but we want you guys to be 100%, the 3 of you. And it was kind of the point in time where we decided to switch all of us 100% full time.
So for me, like I already said, I like right after my studies, I received the scholarship. So because then I was financially independent, I could work on Circled full time. So I never really had to do like part time. But most of the newly founders I met, they're starting their company part-time, of course, because like from the beginning you don't have any cash flow, you're not financially independent. So I guess, I mean, I haven't really experienced it, but I guess what Sebastien said is really true. You have to go all in when you're like really feeling like it, and also being financially independent, being financially independent, so that you can financially support yourself and your family. So that's the most important thing, I guess.
If I may just add something, it might be interesting. So if you are with someone, you have to be super mega transparent with that person. So it means that you need to make a deal, saying that I'm going to work a lot. So it means that maybe I'm going to be home at that kind of time, I'm going to start at that time, but I'm not going to try to work on the weekends. You need to make a deal because that person that is with you is going to make you successful. So just a tip, let's say, make a deal.
Very good point. I would like to go back to the emotional roller coaster you mentioned before. So we already talked about a lot of inspiring and successful moments, but there are certainly also lows in the founding process. And to both of you, were there moments when you just wanted to give up? And if so, what motivated you to keep going?
Yeah, I just recently got to a point where like the whole plan got crashed, and I was at the first thing I thought, there's like no way out. Oh my God, like that's it, without even like having started. But like after a day, I felt my positive thinking back, and was just like seeing it from a whole different perspective. Because of that, I really had the opportunity to approach the matter differently and go into like change the path a little bit. So that was also like a really, really good opportunity to overthink the whole concept and how we're gonna start and like what possibilities are there out for us. So that was a great learning, I have to say. Now I'm really happy about what we're doing now and that it went that way. So yeah, I think you just gotta keep your goal in mind and work with the changing. Yeah.
I mean, it's what I'm saying to the team, because I used to work in the corporate world, and most of our team is rather young. I'm telling them, let's say the life of one day in a startup is at least 1 month in the corporate world. And you have some highs and lows like crazy, but the learning, like you mentioned, the learning you get out of it it's crazy. So it's tough, but I would say, like one of our investors is telling us, okay, you have a vision, you believe in your vision, and this is also this kind of message that sometime your external circle said, yeah, okay, come on, and then you have this boost of positiveness, and then you're back on the boat.
Thank you. I think those were perfect closing words. So thank you very much, Laurie and Sebastien, for your time, for sharing your experiences, and for this very inspiring talk. We wish you continued success with your startups, a good launch for Circled, and we will certainly stay in touch. And to all those who tuned in, we hope you got some new insights into founding and the mindset behind it. For everyone enrolled in Mainz University, the Startup Center is there for further information and support.
And FORTHEM and FIT FORTHEM, who hosted this roundtable, will be further engaged in entrepreneurship topics. So be sure to stay up to date on our social media platforms and web pages. Thank you very much.
Thank you.